In Venezuela, recovery works continue after a week after the landslide in Las Tejerias. The executive announced a plan to support the affected companies in the region. In Haiti, authorities received a shipment of armored vehicles from Canada to help in the fight against criminal gangs. In France, thousands mobilized to protest against the high cost of living, the energy crisis, and the deterioration of the planet. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. In Venezuela, recovery works are progressing 1 week after the landslide in Las Tejerias. The executive announced a plan to support the affected companies in the region. The Vice President of the Economy of Venezuela, Tarek El-Aissami, together with the National Economic Cabinet, toured the streets of Las Tejerias to evaluate the action strategies and define the lines of integral attention in terms of food and public services. The catastrophe left at least 753 families affected and a total of 50 people dead. Authorities are working with 23 companies to restore the productive capacities of the municipality. Nicaraguan authorities released a preliminary report on the estimated damage caused by Tropical Storm Julia. Minister of Finance and Credit Ivan Acosta announced that the damages surpassed $300 million. Acosta pointed out that the damage was centered on the country's infrastructure, energy, road, transport, land, and telecommunications. In the meantime, the productive sector continues with its work to gather a report on preliminary estimates of the damage to agriculture, livestock, fishing, and tourism. In Colombia, at least 20 people were killed and 15 others were injured in a traffic accident on the Pasto Mojarras Road in the municipality of Cachagüí, Department of Nariño. The accident took place on Friday in early hours of the morning when a bus of the Transipiales company overturned sideways a few meters from Peñaliza Tunnel. It was an interdepartmental service bus dispatched from the city of Tumaco, Pacific coast of Nariño, towards Cali City, Cauca Valley, with 35 passengers in total. According to the police report, there are 2 minors among the injured victims, a 3-year-old girl and an 8-year-old boy. He also explained that the exact causes of the rollover are still unknown, but keep the hypothesis that the vehicle could have suffered mechanical failures in the brake system. However, the police and traffic police are deploying all their capabilities to clarify this event. Haiti received a shipment of armored vehicles from Canada purchased by the government to help in the fight against criminal gangs. This Saturday, 4 of the 18 armored vehicles arrived along with other items intended for the same purpose, and a new shipment is expected to arrive in November. The delivery comes at a time when gang activity is increasing and coincides with the introduction of a resolution drafted by the United States, the United Nations Security Council, promoting the deployment of a rapid reaction force in the Caribbean nation. The director of the United Nations World Food Program in Haiti recalled the seriousness and extent of food insecurity in that Caribbean nation in the middle of the growing social crisis affecting the country. According to the most recent report published by the World Food Program, some 4.7 million Haitians, about half of the population, suffer from acute food insecurity. Out of that total, 19,200 are in the catastrophe phase of level 5 in the food security classification, that is the maximum level of alert, and 1.8 million in phase 4, which translates into an emergency situation. This is the first time that people in Haiti have been at the highest stage of food crisis, a situation that Bauer believes could get worse every year in that country.
The Haitian people have gone through a gauntlet this year. First of all, with gang violence, with increasing food prices and inflation, and over the past 4 weeks, a lockdown that's brought the country to a standstill. Schools are closed, hospitals are closed, and farmers are having trouble bringing their goods to the market. This is aggravating a very fragile food security situation. Haiti needs support now.
The government of Panama ratified its commitment to continue the dialogue with the social organizations that paralyzed the country last July against the high cost of living. In a statement issued from Palacios de las Garzas, the authorities indicated that they would respect the proposal of the Catholic Church to restart the second phase of the talks on October 28th. The statement also expresses that they should comply with the installation of the so-called single table of dialogue to generate proposals that contribute to improve the social conditions of the country. In a collective statement, the union and community groups said that they will continue the struggle for the rights of the working people. Let's take a short break, but first remember you can now follow us on TikTok at the account at teleSUR English, in which you will be able to see news in different formats, news updates and much more. Other stories coming up, stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. The Russian Defense Ministry reported that the armed forces neutralized several Ukrainian military command facilities and energy systems. According to defense authorities, 3 command posts and 5 ammunition depots were destroyed by aviation attacks, missile troops, and Russian artillery. Among these was included one located at the chip repair plant in the city of Zaporizhia. The institution detailed that in different areas of Kiev were destroyed in the last 24 hours. 12 tanks, 30 armored vehicles, and 3 M777 howitzers of U.S. manufacture. Russian Defense Ministry spokesman Major General Igor Konashenkov said Saturday that the Russian military thwarted Ukrainian attempts to advance in the Kherson region.
On the direction of Mykolaiv and Kryvyi, the enemy made unsuccessful offensive attempts near the settlements of Dochany, Sadok, Ishenka of the Kherson region. As a result of the active actions of the Russian troops, the attacks were repelled. About 120 Ukrainian servicemen, 17 armored fighting vehicles, and 8 automobiles were destroyed. In addition, Russian artillery destroyed 5 crossings over the Inhulet River, which were set up by the armed forces of Ukraine.
Konashenko also said that Russian troops blocked Ukrainian attempts to make inroads into Russian defenses near Liman in the eastern Lugansk region.
In the direction of Liman, the armed forces of Ukraine made attempts to conduct reconnaissance in force near the settlements of Sergivka and Makiivka of the Lugansk People's Republic, and Novosadove and Toshki of the Donetsk People's Republic. As a result of the fire damage, the units of the armed forces of Ukraine were thrown back to their original positions. Up to 60 Ukrainian servicemen, 2 infantry fighting vehicles, and 7 pickup trucks were destroyed.
On Saturday, rescuers found the body of the last missing miner at a coal mine in northern Turkey, bringing the death toll to 41 from methane blast. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan visited the site of the coal mine explosion. On Twitter, the Turkish president vowed that the incident will be thoroughly investigated. Interior Minister Süleyman Soylu said 58 miners had survived the blast and 28 were injured. The blast ripped through the mine near the small coal mining town of Amasra on Turkey's Black Sea coast shortly before sunset on Friday. Amasra Major Rikay Kakir said many of those who survived had suffered serious injuries. The Madenese Mining Workers Union attributed the blast to a buildup of methane gas, but other officials said it was premature to draw different conclusions over the cause of the accident. In Poland, the reestablishment of the Duzba gas pipeline that transports oil from Russia to Germany is confirmed. The company reported that the pipeline is now fully operational again after one of its 2 branches was shut down this week following a leak in Poland. It was also reported that efforts are now focused on recovering the area damaged by the oil leak, some 70 kilometers from the city of Plock. Although the causes of the incident are being investigated, the Polish operator stated this week that there is no indication of third-party interference in this incident, pending further analysis to determine the exact cause. Thousands of French people began to mobilize in the early hours of Sunday morning to the meeting points of the march called against the high cost of living, the energy crisis, and the deterioration of the planet. The left-wing coalition known as the New Ecological and Social Popular Union, NUPS, calls the demonstration that will take to the streets of the French capital. A time of maximum tension due to the refinery strike, at least 80 political, social, and associate organizations confirmed their participation. Although the march begins at 2 p.m. local time, thousands are already mobilizing in various ways, heading for the capital's Nation Square. More news coming up after a final short break, so don't go away. Welcome back to From the South. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization warns of increasing hunger in the world at present. According to FAO official data, currently more than 3 billion people cannot afford a healthy diet. The UN organization also warned that every 4 seconds a person dies of hunger on the planet, a situation that, according to the organization's authorities, has worsened due to the COVID-19 pandemic, climate change, and the international crisis. Meanwhile, regarding the food agreement reached in July by the United Nations, Russia, Ukraine, and Turkey to supply grains and fertilizers to international markets, FAO recalled that it expires in November and insisted on the need to renew it, since failure to do so could lead to 13 to 20 million people hungry in a year. Thousands of Tunisians demonstrated Saturday in the capital denouncing President Kais Said's power grab and demanding accountability for the country's long-running economic crisis. Said seized power in July last year and then pushed through a constitution enshrining his one-man rule in what critics have called a return to autocracy. The march was organized by the National Salvation Front, a coalition of opposition parties including Islamist-inspired Ennahda, which had dominated Tunisia's parliament before its dissolution by Said. Ali Lafrayette, a former Tunisian prime minister and senior Ennahda's official, said the protest was an expression of anger over the situation of Kais Said. A district court in Islamabad on Saturday extended the physical remand of Pakistani Senator Azam Khan Swati for 1 day in a case related to a controversial tweet. The Federal Investigation Agency sought an 8-day extension in the remand of Swati, which the court refused. Swati said Thursday he was arrested, stripped, and tortured for tweeting about the country's army chief. Azam Khan Swati, a senior member of Prime Minister Imran Khan's party, was taken into custody in the early hours of Thursday morning. The FIA accuses him of a mischievous act of subversion to create a rift in the armed forces and to harm the state of Pakistan. Swati is the third senior leader of Khan's Tehreek-e-Insaf party to be arrested by the FIA. On Saturday, India's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Subrahmanyam Jaishankar, began a 2-day visit to Egypt to explore new initiatives. The Indian Foreign Ministry noted that this will be Jaishankar's first trip to Egypt as Foreign Minister, and he will discuss a range of bilateral, regional, and international issues of mutual interest with his Egyptian counterpart, Sameh Hassan Shukri. Jaishankar will also interact with the Indian community living in Egypt and address a meeting of Egyptian and Indian businesses community. In this context, both countries traditionally enjoy warm and friendly relations based on historical and cultural ties and share more than 50 companies engaged in manufacturing, chemicals, energy, infrastructure, and retailing sectors. In Beijing, everything was set for the 20th Congress of the Communist Party of China, a key meeting that should yield a roadmap for plans for China for the next 5 years and strategies for dealing with the changing international landscape.
Congress of the Communist Party of China is vital to promote the desired goal of national revitalization and turn the Asian giant into a superpower, said Sun Jelly, spokesman of the event. During the first press conference of this 20th century of the Communist Party of China, the official assured the important documents and amendments will be discussed to update the party's vision and promote the construction of socialism with Chinese characteristics.
The Congress will be a meeting of great importance that comes at a crucial time when the Communist Party and the Chinese people of all ethnicities are embarking on a new journey to make China a modern socialist country in every aspect and complete the goal of the second centenary to make China a superpower. The Congress should push forward this task.
According to Chinese authorities and experts, at this Congress, the Chinese Communists must take firmer steps to strengthen the Chinese Communist Party, set China's socioeconomic course, and set the tone for its foreign policy in the midst of a growing confrontation with the United States. The nearly 2,300 delegates present will also review the achievements of the past 5 years and set the ideological and political orientations of the party for the next 5 years. The 20th Communist Party Congress begins on October 16th and concludes on October 22nd. Over 2,500 Chinese and foreign journalists covered this event under strict COVID-19 protocol, which includes quarantines and regular PCR testing. This Congress, the Chinese Communist Party, generates many expectations at national and international level, since it is expected that the main guidelines for the future of China in the short and long term will come out of it, as well as the strategies that the rulers of the Asian giants will follow to manage the changing international context.
Irán Peraza, teleSUR, Beijing, China.